Chapter 1. The day I died, the cold concrete floor pressed against my back. I could feel my blood pooling beneath me, warm and sticky, spreading slowly across the dirty warehouse floor. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I could barely breathe. Above me, Seri stood with a smile on her face. The same face I had fed when she was starving. The same face I had clothed when she had nothing. The same face that cried and promised me eternal gratitude. Now that face watched me die. "You know, Yuna," she said softly, crouching down to look at me. "I always wondered how someone could be so stupid, so naive. You really believed I loved you like a sister, didn't you?" I tried to speak, but only blood gurgled from my lips. She laughed. "Don't waste your energy. You'll be dead in a few minutes anyway." Behind her I saw him, Jaemin, my fiancé, the man who promised to love me forever. He stood in the shadows, arms crossed, refusing to look at me. "Jaemin," I whispered. "Please." He didn't move. He didn't even flinch. Seri stood up and walked over to him, wrapping her arm around his. "He's mine now, Yuna. He's been mine for a long time. You were just too blind to see it." My vision was fading. The edges of the world turned black. I thought about the day I first found Seri. She was sitting on a street corner, begging for food. Her clothes were torn. Her face was dirty. She looked at me with those big, desperate eyes and asked for just one meal. I gave her so much more than that. I gave her my home, my family, my trust, my love, and she took everything else. My reputation, my fiancé, my future. Now she was taking my life. "Why?" I managed to ask, the word barely audible. Seri tilted her head, pretending to think. "Why?" "Because I could. Because you made it so easy. Because people like you deserve to be used by people like me." Tears rolled down my cheeks, mixing with the blood on the floor. But I wasn't crying because I was dying. I was crying because I finally understood how foolish I had been. I thought about Do-hyun. Sweet, loyal Do-hyun. My childhood friend who always stood by me. The man I slapped in public because Seri told me he tried to assault her. I never even gave him a chance to explain. I just believed her, like I always did. "I'm sorry, Do-hyun," I whispered to no one. "I'm so sorry." The darkness crept closer. My heartbeat slowed. Seri's voice echoed somewhere far away. "Goodbye, Yuna. Thank you for everything." And then there was nothing. Chapter 2. 3 years back I woke up screaming. My body shot upright, and I gasped for air like I had been drowning. My hands flew to my stomach, searching for the wound, searching for the blood. There was nothing. I looked down at my body. Clean, whole, unharmed. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might explode. I looked around frantically, trying to understand where I was. Pink walls, white curtains, a stuffed rabbit on the shelf. My old bedroom, the one I lived in before I moved out to be with Jaemin. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no. This isn't possible." I scrambled out of bed and ran to the mirror. The face staring back at me was not the 22-year-old woman who had just died on a cold warehouse floor. It was me at 19. Younger, softer, unmarked by betrayal. My hands trembled as I touched my face. My skin was smooth. My eyes were bright. There were no dark circles, no tear stains, no signs of the 3 years of suffering I had endured. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. The date glowed on the screen. March 15th. 3 years ago. I collapsed onto the floor, my legs giving out beneath me. "This is impossible," I said to myself. I died. I felt myself die. This can't be real. But the carpet beneath me was real. The air in my lungs was real. The beating of my heart was real. I was alive. I was 19 again. And I remembered everything. Every lie Seri ever told me. Every manipulation. Every stolen moment with Jaemin. Every fake tear. Every calculated move. I remembered the soup she threw in my face, burning my skin while she pretended it was an accident. I remembered the documents she forged to destroy my reputation. I remembered the knife she plunged into my stomach while Jaemin watched. I remembered it all. Slowly, I stood up. My legs were shaky, but my mind was clear. If this was real, if I had truly been sent back in time, then everything was about to change. I hadn't met Seri yet. She was still on the streets, waiting for her next victim, waiting for me. A cold smile spread across my face. Not this time, I said to my reflection. This time I won't be your fool. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through my contacts until I found his name, Do-hyun. In my first life, by this point, I had already started distancing myself from him. Seri hadn't poisoned my mind against him yet, but she would soon. Not anymore. I pressed the call button. He answered on the third ring. Yuna? It's kind of early. Is everything okay? His voice, kind, warm, concerned. The voice of the man I had wronged so terribly. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Do-hyun, I need to see you. Today. It's important. Sure. Is something wrong? No, I said, my voice steadying. I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Okay, he said slowly. I'll meet you at the cafe near the park. In my first life, I had wasted so much time on people who didn't deserve it. I trusted snakes and pushed away the people who truly cared about me. Not this time. This time I would protect the people who mattered. And I would destroy the ones who tried to destroy me. Chapter 3. The apology I owed the cafe was quiet when I arrived. Only a few customers sat scattered at tables, sipping coffee and staring at their phones. I chose a booth in the corner and waited. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I clasped them together under the table, trying to calm myself. What was I supposed to say? Hey, Do-hyun, I'm from the future. And I slapped you in public because a con artist lied to me? He would think I was insane. I had to be careful. I couldn't tell him everything. But I needed to fix what I had broken, or rather what I would have broken if I didn't change things. The door opened, and Do-hyun walked in. My breath caught in my throat. He looked exactly as I remembered, tall, kind eyes, slightly messy hair. He was wearing a simple sweater and jeans, nothing fancy. He never cared about impressing anyone. That was one of the things I had taken for granted. He spotted me and smiled, walking over to my booth. Hey, you sounded serious on the phone. What's going on? I gestured for him to sit down across from me. He slid into the booth, studying my face with concern. Yuna, you look pale. Are you sick? No, I said quickly. I'm fine. I need to say something to you, and I need you to listen without interrupting. Can you do that? He nodded slowly. Okay. I took a deep breath. Do-hyun, you've been my friend since we were kids. You've always been there for me, even when I didn't deserve it. And I haven't always appreciated that. He opened his mouth to speak, but I held up my hand. Let me finish, I said. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, about who I can really trust, about who really has my back. And I realized something. I looked into his eyes. You're one of the only people who has never lied to me, never used me, never wanted anything from me except my friendship. His expression softened. Yuna, where's this coming from? It doesn't matter, I said. What matters is that I want you to know. No matter what happens in the future, no matter what anyone says about you, I will always believe you. Always. Do you understand? He stared at me for a long moment, confusion and emotion warring on his face. Did something happen? He asked quietly. Did someone say something about me? No, I said. Not yet. But if anyone ever does, I won't believe them. I need you to remember that. He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. You're kind of scaring me. I laughed softly. Felt strange to laugh after everything I had been through. I'm sorry, I said. I don't mean to scare you. I've had some kind of wake-up call. And I realized I've never told you how much you mean to me. His cheeks flushed slightly. Yuna there's one more thing, I said, my voice turning serious. If you ever meet a girl named Seri-han, stay away from her. Don't trust her. Don't believe anything she says. He frowned. Seri-han? I don't know anyone by that name. You might in the future. Just promise me you'll stay away from her. He looked at me with those honest, trusting eyes. Okay, promise. But can you at least tell me why? Not yet, I said. But someday I will. When it's safe. He nodded slowly. All right, I trust you. Those 3 words hit me harder than anything else he could have said. I trust you. In my first life, I had betrayed that trust. I had slapped him in front of dozens of people, called him a liar and a predator, and destroyed his reputation. All because Seri whispered poison in my ear. I blinked back tears. Thank you, Do-hyun. He reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Whatever you're going through, you don't have to face it alone. You know that, right? I nodded, not trusting my voice. For the first time since I woke up in this second life, I felt a tiny spark of hope. Chapter 4. The girl on the street. 2 weeks passed. I tried to live normally, but nothing felt normal anymore. Every moment I was waiting, planning, preparing. I knew exactly when and where I would meet Seri in my first life. It was burned into my memory. April 2nd. The corner of Maple Street and 5th Avenue. 3:47 p.m. She would be sitting on the ground, wrapped in dirty clothes, holding a cardboard sign that said, "Hungry. Please help." I had walked past that corner every day on my way home from university. That day I had stopped. I had looked into her sad, desperate eyes, and I had made the worst decision of my life. Now April 2nd had arrived. I stood at the corner of Maple and 5th at exactly 3:30 p.m. And there she was, Seri. She looked exactly as I remembered, thin, dirty, pitiful. Her hair was tangled. Her clothes were torn. She clutched her cardboard sign like it was a lifeline. But now, knowing what I knew, I could see things I had missed before. Her nails were clean, trimmed, no dirt under them. Her shoes were old but not worn through. Someone who had been living on the streets for weeks would have holes in their soles. And her eyes, those big, sad eyes, flickered with calculation every time someone walked past. She was performing, testing, waiting for the right target. I walked toward her slowly. She looked up at me, and her eyes widened. Right on cue, tears began to form. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Please, miss. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Just a little money for food. Please." I stared at her. In my first life, this moment had broken my heart. I had immediately knelt down, taken her hand, and promised to help her. Now I felt nothing but cold fury. I reached into my purse and pulled out a few bills. I held them out to her. She reached for them eagerly, but I pulled back slightly. "There's a shelter 2 blocks east," I said flatly. "They serve hot meals 3 times a day. They can also help you find work." Her expression flickered. Confusion, annoyance, then back to desperation. "But miss," she whimpered, "the shelter is full." They turned me away. "Please, if you could just help me." "The shelter isn't full," I interrupted. "I volunteer there. I know for a fact they have space." Her mask slipped for just a second. Her eyes hardened. Then the tears came back, heavier than before. "Please," she sobbed. "I have nowhere to go. No family. No one who cares about me. You seem so kind. Please don't abandon me like everyone else." I dropped the money into her lap. "Buy yourself a meal," I said. "Good luck." I turned and walked away. "Wait," she called after me. "Please wait. You can't just leave me here." I didn't look back. My heart was pounding. My hands were trembling. But I kept walking. Behind me, I heard her call out again, but I blocked out her voice. That night, I sat alone in my room and cried. Not because I felt guilty, but because I was so angry at myself. How could I have been so blind? How could I have looked at that manipulative snake and seen a victim? I wiped my tears and took a deep breath. The battle wasn't over. I knew Seri wouldn't give up that easily. She would find another way into my life. I just had to be ready. Chapter 5. Mother's soft heart. The next evening, I came home from university to find a nightmare sitting in my living room. Seri was there. She was clean now, wearing fresh clothes, my mother's clothes. I realized with a jolt of anger. She sat on our couch, eating soup and bread, while my mother fussed over her like she was a wounded bird. "Yuna!" my mother called when she saw me. "Come meet our guest." I stood frozen in the doorway. Seri looked up at me with those innocent eyes. "Oh, you're the girl from yesterday. The one who gave me money. Thank you so much." My mother's brow furrowed. "You met her yesterday? Why didn't you bring her home?" "I told her about the shelter," I said through gritted teeth. "The shelter?" My mother looked horrified. "Yuna, this poor girl has no one. She was sleeping on the streets. How could you just send her to a shelter?" "She's fine, mother. She doesn't need—" "She needs kindness," my mother interrupted firmly. "She needs a family, and we have more than enough room." My father walked in from his study, drawn by the commotion. "What's going on?" "We're going to help this young lady get back on her feet," my mother announced. "She'll stay in the guest room until she finds work." My father nodded approvingly. "Good. It reflects well on our family to help those less fortunate." I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab them both and shake them and tell them what this girl would do to us. But I couldn't. They would never believe me. I looked at Seri. She was watching me with a small smile playing at the corners of her lips. She knew she had won this round. I heard footsteps on the stairs. A moment later, my grandmother appeared. Grandmother Park was the matriarch of our family. Sharp, wise, and impossible to fool. She had built the family fortune from nothing and trusted no one easily. She looked at Seri for a long moment, her expression unreadable. "So," she said slowly, "this is the charity case." My mother flinched. "Mother, please. Her name is Seri." "I know what her name is," grandmother said. "I also know that hungry dogs bite the hand that feeds them." Seri's smile faltered. "Mother!" my mother exclaimed. "That's incredibly rude." Grandmother shrugged and walked toward the dining room. "I'm old. I'm allowed to be rude." She paused at the doorway and looked back at me. "Yuna, join me for tea." I followed her gratefully. In the dining room, grandmother poured 2 cups of tea and handed me one. "You don't trust that girl," she said. It wasn't a question. "No," I admitted. "I don't." "Good," grandmother said. "Neither do I." I looked at her with surprise and hope. She sipped her tea calmly. "Your mother has a soft heart. Your father cares too much about appearances. But you and I, we see things clearly. Then help me convince them." "I can't," she interrupted. "Not without proof. Right now, that girl is just a poor beggar your mother wants to save. If I try to throw her out, I'll be the villain." She set down her cup. "We need to wait. Watch. Let her reveal herself." I nodded slowly. "And if she doesn't?" Grandmother's eyes glinted. "Everyone reveals themselves eventually. The mask always slips. We just have to be patient." That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Seri was in my house. Again. But this time I wasn't alone. Grandmother was watching too. And I had something I didn't have before. Knowledge. I knew exactly what Seri was capable of. I knew her playbook. This time she wouldn't win. Chapter 6. Stealing what's mine over the next month. I watched Seri work her magic. She was brilliant, I had to admit. Every move was calculated. Every word was designed to manipulate. She woke up early every morning to help my mother cook breakfast. She cleaned the house without being asked. She complimented my father's business achievements with wide-eyed admiration. "You're so successful, Mr. Park," she would say. "I wish I could be even half as accomplished as you." My father ate it up like candy. She also befriended my best friend Minji. Minji came over one afternoon, and Seri practically attached herself to her side. "Your earrings are so pretty," Seri gushed. "You have such amazing style. You must teach me how to dress like you." Minji, who had always been secretly jealous of my family's wealth, practically glowed under the attention. I watched from the corner, sick to my stomach. "Isn't Seri sweet?" Minji said to me later. "You're so lucky to have her living with you." "She's not what she seems," I said quietly. Minji rolled her eyes. You're just jealous because everyone loves her. I stared at her. This was my best friend. The girl I had known since middle school. And she was already choosing Seri over me. Just like before. Then came the evening that changed everything. Jaemin came over for dinner. Jaemin Kong. My fiancé. Well, not officially yet. We had been dating for 6 months. And everyone expected him to propose soon. He was handsome, successful, and charming. Every girl in the city wanted him. And in my first life, Seri had taken him from me. I watched as Jaemin entered the dining room. His eyes swept across the table and landed on Seri. She smiled shyly and looked away. He smiled back. And just like that, the game began. During dinner, Seri accidentally spilled her water glass. Jaemin immediately jumped up to help her. "I'm so sorry," Seri exclaimed, dabbing at the table with her napkin. "I'm so clumsy." "It's fine," Jaemin said warmly. "Here, let me help." Their hands touched as they both reached for the same napkin. Seri blushed. Jaemin's smile widened. I gripped my fork so hard my knuckles turned white. After dinner, I excused myself and went to my room. I pulled out my phone and found the number I had saved last week. Director Kwon, a powerful businessman I had met at a charity event. In my first life, I hadn't thought much of him. But in this life, I had done my research. He was one of the most influential men in the city. He was also known for supporting young talent and despising liars. I typed out a message. "Director Kwon, this is Yuna Park. We met at the charity gala. I would love to discuss internship opportunities at your company. Would you have time to meet this week?" The reply came within minutes. "Mississippi Park. I remember you. How about Friday at 2 p.m.? My office." I smiled grimly. If Seri wanted to take away my family and my fiancé, fine. Let her try. I would build my own empire, my own power, and when the time came, I would use it to destroy her. Later that night, I set up a hidden camera in the living room, positioned to capture everything. I also started a journal, documenting Seri's every lie, every manipulation, every inconsistency. The evidence would pile up. And when I had enough, I would expose her for what she truly was. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. I opened it to find grandmother standing there. "You're watching that girl carefully," she said. I nodded. She smiled, a cold, knowing smile. "Good. So am I." Chapter 7. The public humiliation. The family gathering was supposed to be a celebration. My aunt's birthday. 50 relatives and friends packed into our grand dining hall. Laughter, champagne, expensive gifts. Everything was perfect. Until Seri walked toward me carrying a bowl of hot soup. I saw it happen in slow motion. Her foot caught on the edge of the carpet. Her body stumbled forward. The bowl flew from her hands, directly at my face. The soup hit me like liquid fire. I screamed. The burning spread across my cheeks, my forehead, my neck. I stumbled backward, clawing at my face. Around me I heard gasps, shouts, chaos. "Oh my God! Yuna! Someone get water! It was an accident! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry!" Seri's voice cut through the noise, high-pitched and tearful. I forced my eyes open through the pain. She was on her knees, sobbing hysterically. "I tripped. I didn't mean to. Please forgive me." My mother rushed to Seri's side. "It's okay, sweetheart. It was an accident. Don't cry." My mother was comforting her. Not me. I looked around the room. Jaemin was staring at Seri with concern. Minji was smirking in the corner. My father was calling for someone to clean up the mess. No one was looking at me. No one except grandmother. She walked toward me slowly, pushing through the crowd. She handed me a towel without a word. Our eyes met. In my first life, this moment had broken me. I had run to my room and sobbed for hours. I had isolated myself for weeks. I had let Seri's accident convince everyone I was paranoid and unstable. Not this time. I wiped my face slowly. The soup still burned, but I forced myself to stand tall. "I'm fine," I said, my voice flat and calm. "It was an accident. These things happen." The room went silent. Seri looked up, surprise flickering across her tear-stained face. She had expected screaming, drama, a breakdown she could use against me. Instead, I smiled. "Please, everyone, continue enjoying the party," I said. "I'm just going to go clean up." I walked out with my head held high. Grandmother followed me. In the bathroom, she helped me wash the soup from my skin. Red patches were already forming, minor burns that would heal in a few days. "That wasn't an accident," Grandmother said quietly. "I know," I replied. "Can you prove it?" I thought about the hidden camera I had set up that morning, positioned to capture the entire dining hall. "Yes," I said. "I can." Grandmother's eyes glinted. "Then we wait. We gather more evidence. And when the time is right, we strike." I nodded, wincing as cold water hit the burns. Seri wanted war. She was going to get one. Chapter 8. Building my army. The meeting with Director Kwan changed everything. His office was on the top floor of a glass tower in the business district. When I walked in, he was standing by the window, looking out over the city. "Mississippi Park," he said, turning to face me. "Please sit." I sat across from his desk, trying to project confidence I didn't fully feel. He studied me for a moment. "I've heard about you. Bright, ambitious, top of your class at university." "Thank you, sir. I've also heard about your family's new houseguest." I stiffened. He smiled slightly. "Don't worry. I'm not here to judge. I'm here because I see potential in you, and I want to help you develop it." "Why?" I asked bluntly. He sat down across from me. "Because I've seen too many promising young people get destroyed by snakes who know how to manipulate. I want to give you a chance to become powerful enough that no one can ever touch you." I stared at him. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," he said. "I know you were kind to someone who didn't deserve it. I know that kindness is being used against you. And I know that look in your eyes. You're planning something." I didn't deny it. "I'm offering you an internship," he continued. 3 days a week. You'll learn business, strategy, and how to navigate the world of power." He leaned forward. "In exchange, I ask for one thing: loyalty. Prove yourself to me, and I'll support you. Betray me, and we're done." I nodded slowly. "I accept." We shook hands. Over the next few weeks, I built my network. I met with Secretary On, the man I knew would become Seri's accomplice in my first life. He was a young assistant at my father's company, eager to climb the ladder. "I've noticed your work," I told him over coffee. "You're talented. You deserve better opportunities." He looked at me with surprise. "Miss Park, thank you. I may have some opportunities for you in the future," I continued. "But I need to know I can trust you. Can I?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, you can." I also made contact with reporter Jung, a journalist who covered high society scandals. In my first life, he had written vicious articles about me based on lies Seri fed him. This time, I approached him first. "I have a story," I told him. "A big one. But I'm not ready to share it yet." He looked intrigued. "What kind of story?" "The kind that exposes a con artist who's wormed her way into high society," I said. "The kind that will shock the entire city." His eyes lit up. "When will you be ready?" "Soon," I promised. "I just need a little more evidence." Finally, I told Dohayan the partial truth. We met at the same cafe where I had apologized to him weeks ago. "Seri is dangerous," I said. "She's manipulating my family, and I think she's planning something worse." His brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "I can't explain everything yet," I said, "but I'm gathering evidence against her. When the time comes, I might need your help." He reached across the table and took my hand. "Whatever you need, I'm here. You know that." I squeezed his hand back. For the first time in this new life, I didn't feel alone. I had allies, resources, plan. Seri had no idea what was coming. Chapter 9. The engagement announcement. 6 months had passed since my rebirth. 6 months of watching, planning, waiting. And now, standing in the grand ballroom of the Kong family estate, I watched my worst nightmare unfold again. Jaemin stood at the front of the room, Seri beside him in a beautiful white dress. She looked radiant, innocent, perfect. Everyone, Jaemin announced, his voice carrying across the crowd. I have wonderful news. Seri and I are engaged. Applause erupted around me. I felt the eyes of the room shift to me, watching, waiting for my reaction. In my first life, this moment had destroyed me. I had cried, begged, made a scene that Seri used to paint me as crazy and obsessive. Not this time. I clapped along with everyone else. When the applause died down, Jaemin found me in the crowd. He walked over, Seri clinging to his arm. Yuna, he said awkwardly. I hope you understand. Seri and we just fell in love. I didn't mean for it to happen. Seri looked at me with false sympathy. I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I smiled pleasantly. Congratulations to both of you. I hope you'll be very happy together. Jaemin blinked, clearly caught off guard. You're not upset? Why would I be upset? I asked sweetly. You found someone you love. That's wonderful. I turned and walked away before either of them could respond. I found grandmother near the champagne table. That girl will ruin him, she said quietly. I know, I replied. Are you going to warn him? I shook my head. He made his choice. He chose her. Grandmother nodded approvingly. Then let him live with the consequences. Later that night, Seri found me alone on the balcony. You're different, she said, her innocent mask completely gone. The old Yuna would have cried, begged, made a fool of herself. I turned to face her. The old Yuna was stupid. Her eyes narrowed. What changed? I woke up, I said simply. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a hiss. You think you're clever? You think you can beat me? I've already taken everything from you. Your fiancé, your family's love, your best friend. I smiled coldly. Have you? She faltered slightly. Enjoy your engagement, Seri, I said. Enjoy it while it lasts. I walked past her back into the party. Behind me, I heard her call out, What's that supposed to mean? I didn't answer. She would find out soon enough. Chapter 10. The truth comes out the day I had been waiting for finally arrived. I sat in grandmother's private study. The evidence spread out on the table before us. The hidden camera footage showing Seri deliberately throwing soup at me, her eyes cold and calculating before she tripped. Bank records proving Seri had been siphoning money from my family's accounts into a secret account in her name. Secretary On's testimony about documents Seri had asked him to forge. Documents that would have given her access to even more of our family's assets. Screenshots of messages between Seri and Minji, laughing about how easy it was to manipulate me and my family. It's enough, grandmother said softly. More than enough. I nodded. It's time. The next morning, reporter Jung published his article. The Beggar Bride. How a con artist seduced her way into high society. It was everywhere. Every newspaper, every website, every television station. The article included the soup video, the financial records, and Secretary On's testimony. It painted a picture of a calculated predator who had targeted my family from the very beginning. By noon, my phone was ringing nonstop. My mother called first, sobbing hysterically. I can't believe it. I trusted her. I loved her like a daughter. I tried to warn you, I said quietly. I know, she whispered. I'm so sorry, Yuna. I'm so sorry. My father called next, his voice stiff and formal. I owe you an apology. I should have listened. Yes, I agreed. You should have. Jaemin tried to call 16 times. I didn't answer. Finally, my parents came to see me in person. They looked old, broken, ashamed. We're so sorry, my mother said, tears streaming down her face. We chose her over you, our own daughter. I looked at them for a long moment. I'll forgive you, I said slowly. Someday, but not today. You chose to believe a stranger over your own child. You stood by while she burned my face with soup. You celebrated her engagement to my fiancé. My mother flinched. I need time, I continued. You need to earn back my trust. They nodded, accepting my terms. Minji came next, trying to apologize. Yuna, please, she begged. I didn't know. I thought. You thought she was better than me? I interrupted. You laughed at my humiliation. I saw the messages. Her face went pale. We're done, Minji, I said flatly. Don't contact me again. I closed the door in her face. The only person I truly welcomed was Do-hyun. He held me tight as the chaos swirled around us. You did it, he whispered. You actually did it. We did it, I corrected. I couldn't have done this without you. He pulled back slightly, looking into my eyes. What happens now? I smiled. Now we watch her fall. Chapter 11. Seri's downfall. 3 weeks after the article was published, Seri Han had lost everything. Jaemin had publicly ended their engagement, claiming he had been deceived. His family's lawyers were pursuing legal action for fraud. My family had filed their own lawsuit for theft and forgery. The police had opened a criminal investigation. Every door in high society had slammed shut in her face. No one would hire her. No one would help her. She was toxic. And then she came to me. I was leaving Director Kwan's office when I saw her waiting by my car. She looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed. Her clothes were wrinkled. Her eyes were red from crying. Yuna, she called out, her voice cracking. Please, please, I need to talk to you. I stopped and looked at her. The woman who had killed me in another life. The woman who had stolen my fiancé, destroyed my reputation, and watched me bleed out on a warehouse floor. Now she was begging me for mercy. What do you want, Seri? She fell to her knees on the pavement. Please help me. I have nothing. No money. No home. No one will even look at me. Sounds familiar, I said coldly. Isn't this how we first met? You, on your knees, begging for help. She flinched. The difference is, back then you were pretending, I continued. Now it's real. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. Please, Yuna. I'll do anything. Anything? I laughed bitterly. Will you give me back the 3 years of suffering you caused? Will you give me back the fiancé you stole? Will you give me back my reputation, my family's trust, my best friend? She sobbed harder. You threw soup in my face and let my mother comfort you while I burned, I said, my voice rising. You forged documents to steal from my family. You turned everyone I loved against me. I leaned down until we were eye to eye. And in another life, you killed me. You stabbed me and watched me die while Jaemin stood there and did nothing. Her eyes widened with confusion and fear. I don't understand, she whispered. You don't need to understand, I said. You just need to know that I will never help you. I will never forgive you. And if you ever come near me or my family again, I will make sure you spend the rest of your life in prison. I stood up straight. There's a shelter 2 blocks east, I said, echoing the words I had spoken to her over a year ago. They serve hot meals 3 times a day. Good luck. I got in my car and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I watched her collapse on the pavement, screaming. I felt nothing. Chapter 12. A new beginning. 1 year later. I stood in my office at Kwan Industries, looking out over the city skyline. At 23 years old, I was the youngest junior executive in the company's history. Director Kwan had been true to his word. He had mentored me, supported me, and helped me become someone powerful in my own right. Not because of my family name, because of my own abilities. A knock at the door interrupted my thoughts. Come in, I called. Do-hyun walked in, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He was smiling, that warm, genuine smile I had fallen in love with. Yes, love. After everything that happened, Do-hyun had stayed by my side. He had believed me when no one else did. He had supported me when everyone else abandoned me. 6 months ago, I had finally told him the truth. Everything. The warehouse. My death. Waking up 3 years in the past. He had listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "That explains a lot." I had stared at him. "You believe me?" I believe you, he said simply. I've always believed you. We had been together ever since. Coffee break, he announced, handing me a cup. You've been working too hard. I smiled and took the cup. Thank you. He leaned against my desk, studying my face. You look happy. I am happy, I admitted. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I guess. He laughed softly. We were interrupted by my phone buzzing. A text from my mother. Dinner on Sunday? Your father and I want to see you. We miss you. I stared at the message. Over the past year, I had slowly rebuilt my relationship with my parents. It wasn't perfect. There were still moments of tension, old wounds that hadn't fully healed. But they were trying. And I was trying too. I typed back, I'll be there. Should I bring anything? Her reply was immediate. Just yourself. We love you. I put down my phone and turned back to Do-hyun. Good news? He asked. Dinner with my parents on Sunday, I said. Want to come? His eyes widened. Are you sure? That's a big step. I'm sure, I said. They should get to know the man I love. He grinned. That boyish smile that made my heart flutter. I'd like that. Later that afternoon, I received another piece of news. Reporter Jung sent me a link to a small article. Woman arrested for fraud in neighboring city. The article detailed how a woman named Seri had attempted to con a wealthy family using the same tactics she had used on my family. This time, the family had caught her quickly. She was now facing multiple criminal charges. I read the article twice, then closed my phone. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No triumph. Just nothing. Seri had made her choices. She had to live with the consequences. I walked to the window and looked out at the city. In my first life, I had died believing that kindness was weakness, that helping others only led to pain. Now I knew better. Kindness wasn't the problem. Blindness was. I had been so desperate to see the good in people that I had ignored every warning sign. I had trusted without verification, loved without boundaries, given without protecting myself. Now I understood. Kindness must be earned. Trust must be built. And some people will never deserve either. Do-hyun came up behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist. What are you thinking about? He asked softly. I leaned back against him. I'm thinking about how I got here, I said. All the pain, all the betrayal, all the lessons I had to learn. Was it worth it? I turned in his arms to face him. Every moment, I said, because it led me to this, to you, to the person I've become. He kissed me gently. Outside, the sun was setting over the city, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. I had been given a second chance at life. And this time I had used it wisely.